Okay, I'm Chandler. This is Hunter
Hello.
Stout, and I am interviewing him for the project. Uh, let's see, Mr. Stout. Do you think that Buffalo Wild Wings does shift swapping well?
Do we do shift swapping well?
Yeah, like the Facebook specifically.
Facebook specifically. Absolutely not. It's probably one of the most atrocious methods, I think, of being able to put up shifts, just given that it's so disorganized. Half the servers aren't even in the shift swapping thing. The other half are people who have not worked at the company in years. So it's just kind of this insane like it's almost like half put together, half baked, like unprofessional almost.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the next question would be: is Facebook a good place for shift swapping? But I can assume, based on your previous answer, that you do not think that this is the case.
I mean, you could definitely do better.
Okay.
Especially a company with the resources like Buffalo Wild Wings. Like, why are they making us do our own kind of shift swap? I mean, not that I'm saying that it's too terrible to do it that way, but at the same time, the way that it's done with our current system, with our servers, is it's kind of inconvenient.
Okay. Let's just move on for now, since you've answered most of the whys as well. Amazing in-depth answers, I must say. We are asking currently as stakeholder number one, which would imply that you are capable of logging into this app, right? So the goal of this is to create an app that would replace Facebook and shift swapping, in case you haven't pieced that together. So currently as stakeholder one, which would imply that you can log in and post a shift. Please answer the next questions according to the fact that you would log in and post a shift. How do you often offer up shifts? And what information do you normally include?
That would be the shift I need covered or a shift I would like to pick up. The time of the shift as well as the date of the shift. And then maybe some extra comments on the side to that as well. For instance, if I really needed a shift covered and wanted to add an extra incentive, like a $20 bonus to whoever takes it, well, I could put that in as a little comment under it too. And I've never made any sort of post on that in which didn't include all of that information or less.
Okay. Why do you include all that information? Just for...
Well, it's important to know, what shift I want covered, so that if somebody does decide to take it, they know what they're getting into, they know what time they're going to be covering for me, what shift they're taking, and the date of it, so there's no confusion on that front. As well as, that's pretty much the only reason why I include that information.
Okay. Interview was interrupted by a spider. Would you like to see any specific features added to a shift swap app of which you would be posting shifts to?
Specific features, like...
Oh, that's where it goes. Keep going.
Like, specific features as in,
any specific ways for you to add, specific comments to shifts that you... or specific, important reasons. Just anything you can think of. When you post a shift, is there any feature that Facebook does not have that you would like to see in this app? When you post a shift, do you think a simple text format works well? Or do you think there should be other formats that we can work with?
I think a text format does work relatively well, in the sense that it's quite quick and easy. But what is really annoying about that on Facebook is just the fact that it doesn't keep updated with all of the servers on the floor, and that are currently employed at the company. And so, it becomes harder to get shifts covered because only a certain percentage of people who work there are going to see it.
Cool. As once again, you've answered the whys by yourself, so I will move on. So now we're going to be asking questions from a stakeholder 2 perspective. A stakeholder 2 can get on the app without logging in and view shifts. So now, please answer the next following questions from the perspective of simply looking at shifts and maybe looking at shifts with the intent of picking up one. So let's go ahead and continue. How often do you pick up shifts?
Decently frequently. I mean, I'd say maybe once every like 3 weeks or so, maybe 4. Once a month, I'd say.
Yeah. Okay. That's not too much of a important question. What would you like to see on shifts you pick up?
So if I'm specifically trying to pick up a shift, usually there's a specific date and time in mind. So like I have this day available, let's say Sunday, and I'm gonna pick up a shift Sunday. And that's really the only availability I have, which to try to pick up a shift. What would be nice is like compared to Facebook, where you have to scroll through endless amounts just to see if anyone has posted that up. If there was like a formal way of doing that, where like specific date and times were entered, then I could maybe enter the date I want to try to pick up a shift and see if anybody's offering one. If not, I could post to see if anybody wants to give theirs up to me.
Okay. So maybe like a filter specifically for
that's
the dates?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Y in this case would be a filter.
Yes.
Or would be ease of access almost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, ease of access. I'd say that's a big thing that we don't get with our current
Facebook. And what information is important to you when picking up a shift? Like what when you see a shift, what do you like to know about that shift?
It's all about date and time. But that's the important part. Is just to make sure that it aligns with my scheduling and kind of my needs with that.
Okay.
So that's the most important thing to me. Is like if somebody's offering a shift on the date that I can, or I need this shift on a specific date and time covered.
Okay. Any additional information you'd like to see on shifts you pick up?
I mean,
besides like the date and time.
I mean, it's always nice to see. I'll pay you $50 on the side.
Yeah.
But,
so
I mean,
cash incentive. And do you think it's important? I'm actually going to add this as a question. Do you think it's important that people be capable of posting a reason for shifts?
As from the perspective of just an employee,
from the perspective of picking up a shift, do you think it's important that you can see a reason?
I don't think so personally. I think that's up to that's something for the employer to know. I mean, my only concern, as somebody like looking for a shift, for example, is whether or not it aligns with something I can pick up.
Okay, cool.
I don't really care why they're giving it up. I just want it.
You just want it, yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Mr. Stout.
Oh, it was a pleasure doing business with you.
I look forward to future interviews.
Oh, absolutely. Catch me on the Tonight Show.
Yes.